Hello and welcome to UTECHPIA. Today we're comparing two Tesla. This one is the Tesla Model Y, and this one is the outgoing design. They're going to change this model real soon. This is the 2024 Tesla Model 3 Highland with a refreshed look. So the question that a lot of people ask is, if you want to buy a Tesla right now, and you want to buy a new Tesla, and your budget is around $40,000, then which one do you get? Do you want to get the new updated Tesla Model 3 Highland, or do you get the Model Y, the old design? Let's take a look and compare the two. So with the upgraded Model 3 Highland, you see right here, it has a sharper front bumper than the old one. The old one was a little bit more rounded here. The older designs had a built-in fog light with the signal down here. The new design no longer has a fog light, and the signal is built in here. Let me turn on the signal so you can see what it looks like. So when the signals are on, you can see right here, the signal look really nice, and there's also a nice light right here on the side of both of them. If you come right here, you can see the signal lights are the same on both of them, right here and right here. But more importantly, let's focus back in the front a little bit. So here, I was actually wrong. The signal light on the old Teslas is up here. The new one is right here. Oh, that looks so much nicer, right? There is no fog light at the bottom, so you do miss out on that, but you have a cleaner design. Actually, the grille is the same, but this one has a little bit of an air inlet on this side, but this one does not have it. So that's the front right there. And if you look at the hood bonnet, there's actually a little bit of a new geometry that makes the aerodynamic more efficient. You have a lower coefficient of drag, which means this cuts through air better than the older design. Now, let's look at the front and see how much storage we have in front. The front on the Model 3 Highland, there we go. And then the front on the Model Y, right here. And let's compare the difference. Let's look at this with a tape measure, because I came prepared. So right here, we have a distance of roughly about 32 inches width. Let's compare that to the Model Y. Over here, you have a little bit more. On here, you have about 35 inches, so a little bit wider. But notice right here, there's a little bump. Over here, you have the little bump, but it's not as bad. So you see over there was about 35. Here, again, you're at about 32 and a half or so. And in terms of depth, that's quite a difference. So on the back end right here, you have about 10 inches roughly on here. And let's compare on the Model Y. The Model Y is much deeper. It was 10 there, right? Here, you're going up to 14. Plus, we have this. This one is an aftermarket piece. So without the aftermarket piece, yeah, you have almost 15. So about 5 inches more on this one right here. By the way, these are Tesla mats. You can get these mats for your trunk, for your front, and the seats as well. The new Tesla Model 3, if you get the cheapest one, which is this one, the standard range one, it doesn't come with floor mats. So you gotta get really good all-weather floor mats. I highly recommend them. We'll talk about the all-weather floor mats in our car in a little bit because it works really well. So again, over there, you were up to 15, and here, you're back down to 10 on the back. Now, how about the front? Front right here, if you look, it goes down to, maybe measure it this way. Yeah, so about 8 inches deep right here for the front of it. So the Model Y right here, the other one was 8. This one has up to 11. So much more storage in the front alone, right? And this is called the frunk. And also, the final measurement right here, this one is about 16 and a half in terms of this dimension. And over here, oh, they're about the same, 16 and a half. In general, the dimension of the Model 3 Highland front storage is going to be less than the Model Y, and this is just the beginning. This is going to be a recurring theme. That's why I always recommend the Model Y if you can afford it. And in this case right now, if you can wait, get the refreshed Model Y that comes with the upgraded headlights and all the upgraded features. So what else is upgraded in the Highland that's going to carry over to the Model Y? Well, this is a prediction right now, but let's go look at some of that right now. So the upgraded Model 3 Highland has double pane glass all around. So right here we have double pane glass on the Model 3, but the cool thing is Model Y has already had that upgrade in its design for a while now. So that's one of the features that they're gonna add to the Model 3 that the Model Y already has. But in general, the suspension and the quietness of the cabin has improved in the Model 3, and I would expect the suspension and the quietness of the cabin to also improve in the updated Model Y that's going to come out later this year. So that's one reason to wait. Speaking of the floor mats we mentioned earlier, these are the all-weather floor mats that we have in the Tesla Model Y. It's very easy to just take out and clean, and we don't even use the stock carpet anymore anyway. So just keep that in mind, because with the Tesla Model 3 Highland, when you get the lowest price version, it does not come with any floor mats. Literally, there's no floor mats, period. There's no floor mats at all, not in the front, and also not in the back. And speaking of the back, look at that right there. You have a screen back here where you can actually control the infotainment system. You can play games. You can adjust the volume and control the temperature back here, right here, like this. So it's very nice. You can turn on and off the cooling and whatever you like. You can even change your seat heating right there. You can heat your seats and move this seat back or forward off from the back. These are features that are in the new Tesla Model 3 Highland. Oh yeah, and also the LEDs, they look really good on the Model 3 Highland, like you see over here, right? These little LEDs, and you can change the colors. They look amazing. So if I go here and I change the lights, you can see these lights right here. You can change the color to fuchsia, to purple, to blue, even to white. You have red, you have orange, you have green, and you can pick any color in the color wheel. That looks really cool. And currently, this lighting effect and the screen back there is not available in the Tesla Model Y. Let's look at the inside of the old Model Y. So the old Tesla Model Y does not have a screen. So the kids back here will be a little bit bored. I mean, they can put a tablet here, but that's all manual. Whereas with the Model 3 Highland and soon to be upgraded Model Y, the refresh version will certainly have a screen back here where it's more enjoyable for the people in the back to watch their own content, have their own Bluetooth headset, listen to their own stuff back here, while the front also has the screen. So also, if you notice back here, it's a little bit roomier sitting back here on the Model Y. So let's actually do a couple quick measurements and compare to the Model 3, because with the Model Y, you're sitting higher up and you have more space, and it's just a little bit of a roomier car. All the dimensions are a little bit bigger in the Model Y than the Model 3. So in terms of the height here, let's take a look at the height of where we're at inside. So right at the front of the seat, you're at about 51 inches at the height. Let's compare that to the Model 3 over there. And you can see right here, I'm a little bit closer to the head space, and you're at about 46 inches. So 51 over there versus 46 here, and that's to the glass, right? If you look at this bump right here, it's 43 because you actually have a bump here, whereas with the Model Y, it was all glass. So that's a little bit of a difference too. And by the way, they have these new lights right here, and the refresh is really nice. You just like touch on them. It's like a nice soft touch. Really cool feature. Oh, you also have these hooks right here. You're hooking on your suits or your dry clean so they don't get all wrinkled. And again, the screen back here is just awesome, right? You also have nice features like USB ports over here, 2 USB-Cs, which you also have that on the Model Y. And if you notice, again, no floor mats here, but we do recommend the all-weather floor mats, because with the all-weather floor mats, they are easy to vacuum, and if you are out in the rain, out in the mud, it's fine because you can step here, and once the mud dries, you can just vacuum it or wipe it off. It's very easy. The upgraded version of the Model 3 does have the carpeted inside here, but the Model Y already has it. So the upgraded Model 3 does have the carpet here and a nicer card than the older Model 3, but the Model Y already has that. So even in the old version of Model Y, you already had the nicer interior. You just don't have the LEDs. The LEDs are nice. So I do look forward to the LEDs on the new version of the Model Y. I look forward to the screen in the back seat for the Model Y upgrade. And I do look forward to the design of the front changing. Also, before we go to the back, look in the front and look at the steering wheel. So in the front of the Model 3, if you notice, one thing that's crazy is right here. There are no more stalks. There's no shifting for changing the drive, park, reverse, and there's no signal. The signals are here. You push this and you signal. You push this and you signal the other way. And if you want to turn on your windshield wiper, you hold this and you see. Okay, so I just had to close the hood of the vehicle in order to activate the windshield wiper. So if I push right here, this button right here will activate the windshield wipers like so. And you also have the horn right here. If you push this for a horn, there's no stalk. So how do you actually drive? You push on the brake pedal, and once you push on the brake pedal, this stuff pops up. So to drive forward, you just slide forward like this and it goes to drive. To park, you hit this and it goes to park. To go reverse, you push this and it goes to reverse. Again, park right there. So very easy, right? I honestly will miss the stock for the turn signal because this, although it's futuristic, the problem with this is if you're on a turn and then your indicator's down here, or if you're like here, it's the opposite, right? So this is to turn right, is on top, and turn left is on the bottom, just like how you have the stock. Up is right, down is left, right? But if you switch over here, the arrows are even opposite. So it's really confusing. I don't like that, and I wish they had the stock. So that's something that is going to be part of the new Model Y refresh. But currently the Model Y, if you get the old version, you get the stocks. So that's the difference there. And also they changed this up too. You have this that slides up, and you have storage even down here. There's a little shelf inside here, and you have a nice deep pocket with light. Then you slide this back, and then you have cup holders. And the cool thing is when you close both of these, it's very clean. It hides a cup holder. And of course over here, you have your charging pad, so you can put your cell phone and have wireless charging. That's always been available in the Model 3 and the Model Y. And back here you have a magnetic closure, so you open this up and you have a lot of space here too. The refresh does look nicer. If you can't wait and you got to get a car right now and you want all the features, you got to get the Model 3, and like we said, it's a little bit smaller. So the Model 3, you're sitting a little bit lower to the ground. It does feel sportier, but for convenience of storage and creature comfort, the Model Y does have a lot of space that's better. All right, so let's hop over to the Y and take a look at the front real quick with the Model Y. So in the Model Y, you can see right away, this part is raised. So you have more space because everything is raised up. Now compare this to the Model 3 over there. You can see that bump is gone. So if we go over here, you see, it's not as raised, right? This one sits low to the ground. It actually sits underneath this area here. So you can see how the Model 3 is a shorter car. In fact, if you measure the height of the car itself from the ground right here, right at the pillar, it's about 58 inches. And you go over to the Model Y, about 63. So a little bit more in terms of height, but those few inches, they do matter. Let's hop inside. All right, so we're back inside our Model Y, and you can see right here, the dash is a little bit different, but mainly you have the stalks. These stalks right here, and then there's less buttons on the steering wheel because all the functions in the stock. For example, if you want to use a windshield wiper over here, you push this button in, and this will activate your windshield wipers right there. So that's your windshield wiper. And your signals are here, as you would imagine. Down right here will signal this way, and then up will signal that way. So very familiar. And when you turn the steering wheel, for example, the up and down is always in the same place, right? So that makes it very easy to drive. And I'm honestly going to miss the signal stock. And the drive and reverse stock, it's nice, but the signal is what I really will miss. So in this car, the older Model Y, to drive, you push down right here to go into drive, you push up to go back into reverse, you push this to go into park, and then you can see how it works with this versus the sliding on the screen, which I think is not a big deal. I can get to either one, but the signal I will miss here, and I do like the quick access to the windshield wiper on this, but the Model 3 Highland does have the windshield wiper on the steering wheel, so that's not bad either. So that is the steering wheel. Now, if you look down here, over here, we actually have a aftermarket Vion center console, so ignore that for a second. But here you have your storage in here, and we actually added an extra aftermarket tray here too, but the storage here is a little bit deeper. Now if you notice, this part closes, but the cup holder always stays here, so you don't cover the cup holder. I do like that the Model 3 Highland has the cup holder being covered. You do have the 2 wireless charging here, and this part right here opens up. It's not magnetic because there's a little latch right here. You push this latch and it opens up. And this is again an aftermarket piece, but you still have the storage here. So similar amount of storage, I would say, between the Model 3 and the Model Y. The updated Model 3 does have the area where the cup holders are covered, so that does look cleaner. The screen size between the old Model Y versus the new Model 3 is the same size, but the bezels on the updated Model 3 is thinner. So if you're gonna wait for the new Model Y, it will have thinner bezel screen. And I think the refresh rate is a little bit faster too. The seats are just heated. They don't have the cooling feature. Whereas on the Model 3 Highland, the refresh version, it does have cooling features. Oh, and the old Model 3, you cannot turn off this air vent right here for the passenger side. Sometimes if the passenger side wants to turn off the air vent, you can't do it. But with the new Model 3, you can turn off the air vent on the passenger side. Now, the Model Y always had the biodefense mode right here, which is really great because this mode right here will keep the circulation inside and filter out the air really well. This feature was only available in the Model Y, but now with the refresh Model 3, they get that too. And by the way, look at the huge window you have here on the top. So it expands all the way to the back and all the way to the front. So this is kind of the nice thing about the Model Y, even the old Model Y. And then last but not least, let's look at the trunk space, because that is where the biggest difference, in my opinion, comes with the Model Y, is the storage and the capability that you have with the trunk. So this one is automatic. You open it like this and it opens up. And you see, this is a hatchback. So you have so much space right here, and you also have space underneath here too, so a ton of space. Ignore that wire, because that wire right there, you actually have space right here too, believe it or not. Oh, by the way, these are the aftermarket floor mats, and these are the trunk mats as well. And you actually have a little bit of extra storage back here too, believe it or not, for other stuff. So you have a tiny little bit of extra storage here. And then that closes that. And then the pockets here, you have some really deep pockets on the side here, and also on this side right here, deep pockets. And these seats right here, when you fold them down, boop, right there, and boop, right here, whoops. These things normally open down is because we have those floor mats on the back of the seats, so that when you put stuff in, it doesn't scrape it up. That's why it was a little hard to open. When we don't have the trunk liners, I do want to show you guys that right here, the Model Y does have this nice feature where you can just push here, that will open down, and then push this one right here, and this one opens down. Look at the storage from back here all the way to the front of the console there. Let's just measure this dimension. So that's roughly like 80 inches. Right over here. And let's compare that to the Model 3. And by the way, when you close the Model Y, you'll notice that the tail lights are 2 pieces. You see out here? It makes a little bit of a difference, but it's kind of cool that the new one is 1 piece. So if you look over here, the new one is 1 piece, so it looks a little bit nicer when you're close up. But when you're far away, this little gap here, it's hardly noticeable. And if you see Teslas on the road, you would think that it's all 1 piece anyway. But this one really is 1 piece on the new Model 3 Highland. So with the Model 3, again, this is continuous, so it looks really good. And you have the trunk that's powered. Now, the Model 3s have had power trunks for a while, but the very first original Model 3 didn't have the power trunk, and the power trunk opens and closes. Let's just look at the opening real quick right here. So your opening is about 18 inches, 19 inches here, and about 41 inches this way. So let's just compare that really quick to this one over here. So 18 inches was the height, right? So this one, if you look at the height when you close it over here, you have roughly about 19, 20 inches, so that's higher already. But you can imagine, you can put a lot of stuff here because you have access to just all this to put in, so you can put in bigger things. And the width here, over here, is 42 inches. I forgot what it was over there, so let's measure back here again really quick on the width of this one. And oh, so this one's a little bit smaller at 41 inches, but you can see it's harder to put big stuff in here because the opening here is restricted. Now, in terms of like what else you do have the cubby holes, but it doesn't go quite as deep. It goes down this deep right here on both sides, and down here, you can open this up. You have a good amount of storage here, and you don't have the extra little storage down here that we can lift up as in the Model Y. So those seats do fold down, but you can't access them from back here. So let's actually pull those seats forward, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. To pull the seats, I can grab right here and pull the seats like this. And there's a split, that one there, and then over here, I can pull this one, and then the seats drop down here. So you can see here the Model 3, if you measure all the way up, so you have about 81 inches. So in terms of like the length of stuff you can put in before you hit the center console on the back, is about 81 inches, and you can actually put like stuff way in the front too. So we're not gonna really measure that because yes, you can put long things in here, but the problem is the restriction you have to this area, right? So like this is really gonna block a lot of your stuff when you put it in, versus with the Model Y, you can see you have much more space here to just put things. So the Model Y is more versatile, and remember, you have this area which is also deeper, you have the pockets on the side which is also deeper, and then plus you have the extra bonus little space back here that the Model 3 Highland doesn't have. So Model Y does have more space. Just wait for that refresh if you can, because I do think the lights, they do look better on the Model 3 Highland versus the lights right here. So these are the older lights. If you're looking for a Tesla and you're interested in buying one, my referral code is UTECHPIA.com/Tesla. That will help save you some money and maybe some perks, and those change all the time. So there we go. That's the end of our episode. I hope that helps you decide whether you want to get a Model Y right now and deal with the older version, or get the Model 3 Highland, enjoy all the new features, or what I recommend the most is wait for the Model Y refresh that's coming out later on this year. So let me know if you have any questions, but that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.